welcome to the Weekly Review, a program of SSOA Network, making sense of relevant topics and news. My name is Roger Alfred Yoron Mudi. I'm the producer and the host. Last week, 25 South Sudanese senior military and police officers, drawn from the parties to the Revitalized Agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan, concluded a 4-day course on post-conflict, peacebuilding and reconstruction in Rwanda Peace Academy in Kigali, Rwanda. The training was under the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNITAR, and the Reconstituted Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission, RJMEC, in partnership with the Rwanda Peace Academy, RPA. Two generals, Major General John Sandy Martin, the Deputy Sector 6 Commander from the SPLA-IO, the Sector 6 covers Western Equatoria and Lake State. And also we have Major General Peter Mabior Riny from South Sudan Patriotic Movement under the South Sudan Opposition Movement Alliance. Welcome to the Weekly Review, Generals.
Thank you very much.
And let's continue. Our first question is that the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Honorable Angelina Teny, was with you in Rwanda. A statement by the Minister of Defense, quoted by SudansPost, said that the training, quote, the training is also a process of unification of command, where trainees are equipping with knowledge of commanding the unified forces with the spirit of peace and development, unquote. But before we hear from you, the relations between the training and the process of the unification forces, tell us more broadly, what have you learned in the training that you would like to share with the public?
You were asking the link, or the link between the training that we had and
no, I'm saying no. Before we go to the link, you tell us more broadly what you have learned. That
Okay. First of all, when we went to Rwanda on 1st of May, we were taken to Genocide Memorial Center, where we were shown around how the genocide unfolded, and then later taken to a museum where the RDF, that is Rwandan Defense Forces, intervened, and chased away the genocidal forces. Then on Sunday, we were taken to the border between Rwanda and Congo. We were shown, how they do immigration processes, all this. And then on Monday, on 3rd, that's when we started the training. What we learned in the training is, first of all, the military is a very important institution. It is a stabilizing institution in any country. Okay, and we were told that when there was genocide in Rwanda, and then the other institutions were actually constructed using the military. The military work is to defend the country and the people. Okay, we were also shown that vision is very important if the country was to develop. Okay, and military should not join in politics. Whenever politicians have differences, then military should not be partisan. It should always remain apolitical or neutral in that sense. Okay, we were also shown that military can construct schools, can construct hospitals, can help in socio-economic development. All right. We also learned that we should always solve our problems, not always blaming outsiders, but always look inward, to solve our own cases. We sit down, we talk as brothers, and that war should not always be the solution. The solution should be always dialogued. Again, we were also shown that it is important that we have to reconcile. After defeating the genocidal government, they first, demobilized and reintegrated 1,005. The revenge cannot solve issues in the country, because once you go for revenge, it will go on and go on like that, and the country will, will be in chaos. So this, in summary, these are some of the things that we learned. Generally, we were also told unity, accountability, and thinking big are some of the things that made Rwanda to be what it is. And therefore, as South Sudanese, we have to think big. Yeah.
Now, in terms of the relations between the training and the forces of the issue of the unification of forces, because under the agreement, the forces, the opposition, and those previous government supposed to be unified.
Yeah.
Now, what are the relations between the training and even with the forces of the government? Because you people are from the opposition side. Have you been able to see that element of coming together and unifying, despite that the implementation has been really slow?
You are right. You are right. We were taken to what they call the Mobilization and Reintegration Center, where the returnees who were actually the rebels who returned from the Congo are being actually trained on the doctrine of RDF, and then they are given some packages and return home. Those who would wish to be part of the army would actually be integrated into the army. We explained in our agreement, they talk about unification and integration. What they told us is that it doesn't make any difference whether it is unification or integration. What is important is that you should have what is common between all of us, whether you are in government or opposition, is that the country should be first, and it is a unifying factor. It doesn't matter. Therefore, we have to come together, all right, as South Sudanese. It doesn't matter whether we are integrated or unified. And we were trained, we were told, what is important is the vision and putting the country first. Country, South Sudan, is the common factor between the government and the army forces. If that is in the mind, then integration or even unification should not be an issue, so long as we are serving the same country. So this is what they told us, that told us unification and integration doesn't make any sense. What should make any sense? That we should be patriotic and put the country first.
But then you had grievances when you pick up arms.
Yes.
Your parties and the other opposition parties, when they picked up arms, they had grievances. The grievances were to be settled through the implementation of the agreement. There are certain issues there mentioned, certain provisions made, including the permanent constitution making process. Now, the connection between the solution to the grievances, which is through the implementation of the agreement, as per what you have agreed to, versus what now the army, the different armies are being coming together. So is there like one going far, another one is not happening, like implementation happening slow? What would be the unification by then? Would you be unified, and then that would be the end of the grievances that you raised through the unification, or you still want the agreement to be implemented?
Implementation of it solves a lot of issues, and which is R-ARCSS. There is part that is talking about the security arrangements, which is very. We also have accountability, where the truth, reconciliation, and justice. Okay, we have part where there will be financial management is part of it, and a lot of issues before we reach security implementation is one of the pillars. It's very important because when what broke out in 2013, it was the security that was used to destroy the country, and that's why it is very important, so that politicians do not run to the army, to back up or to fight the opponents. So one of the things that we were taught is that we have to be neutral irrespective of this. But then unification is important because that will build the confidence in our people that they will not be targeted. Okay, so if the army remain partisan the way it is, opposition with their forces and the government with their forces, then the confidence will not be there. And if the confidence not be there, there is likelihood that, mistake could happen and we might return to war, and that, the country could still be destroyed again. So unification is very important because it builds the confidence, and it is for the security sake and for our people to come out of refugee camps, IDP camps. They need to see that we are working together as one people. Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you. Now, in terms of the delays in the even graduation of the first batch of the supposed to be unified forces that have been undergoing training, what have been your observations? What are the reasons in your observation? Why is the graduation taking long, and why the unification entirely is not happening as expected?
One, there is an issue of political will, which is one of the factors that is affecting graduation of necessary unified forces. Two, there is lack of resources, which is also one of the factors, because the soldiers that are being trained do not have guns according to government. They are asking opposition to come with guns they were fighting government with. And we have had the issue of, where some of the people have come to the training camps without their guns. They have not been screened. There should have been cantonment area where the forces were supposed to be screened before taken to the training center. And in this screening, there should have been registration of arms before they are taken to training center.
Hello, welcome to the weekly review program of SSOA Network. Joining us again is General John Sunday Martin, who had internet problems last time. We couldn't continue the interview. General Sunday, welcome to the program, and we go straight to hearing from you what you learned from your side, because we already heard from General Mabior. So we would like to hear from you the training in the Rwanda Peace Academy in Kigali on the post-conflict, peace building and reconstruction, the role of the military. Tell us your side.
Yes, first of all, I wanted to thank you very much for hosting me on this SSOA program. I wanted to first introducing about the senior leadership post-conflict peace building reconstruction work that took place in Rwanda between 3rd to 7th of May 2021. The workshop was organized by Reconstituted Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commissions with the financial aid from the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. The workshop took place in Rwanda Peace Academy, and it was attended by 25 senior military and police officers, of which 9 are from our peace partners, the South Sudan People's Defense Force, 9 from SPLA-IO, 4 from South Sudan Opposition Alliance, and 3 generals from National Police. First, we were from here, the Rwanda, Museum Genocide, Rwanda and the Reintegration Commission. We also visited Rubavu border post with Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo. We also traveled and visited Rwanda Military Academy. Yeah, so from our tour, we also benefited from, we experienced the importance of having a visionary leadership, as well as a political will in building a nation that every citizen will benefit or will be free from any threats. We also learned the need and the importance for reconciling the victims and perpetrators to live together in peace and unity, as what we have seen in Mayanje Unity and Reconciliation Village. We also, during our tour to Rwanda Military Academy, we were able to learn the importance of military training academy for building the capacity of military officers for peacekeeping missions, as well as professionalization of army for the stability of a country. In our 5 days workshop in our class, we were able to learn about the root causes of the conflict in South Sudan, and then also conflict analysis process. We also are able to learn the negative role the military, the national security, and other organized forces played in fueling the conflict in South Sudan, especially in 2013 and 2016. We also learned the IGAD-led peace process and how it has been violated, especially in 2016, and the continued violation that has been taken place the last year and even this year by our partners in peace agreement. We also able to learn the challenges facing the implementation of this revitalized agreement on resolutions of the conflict in South Sudan, especially chapter 2 of the agreement, that is transitional security arrangement and the unification of the forces. We also about the process and importance of military and other organized forces unification and the current security situation that remain as a threat to the peace and stability of South Sudan.
Now,
we also
with the training now, the things you've learned versus the fact that the national unified forces that's supposed to be graduated, even deployed, all the issues to do with security arrangements, they are supposed to happen before, you know, the transitional period. It should be, have happened during the pre-transitional period. Now there are delays, and then citations about reasons why the delays have happened, why forces are not being graduated. Things have been there, changing here and there. But then this training and then the level of interactions that you've been having with the other partners in the peace agreement, the forces of the SSPDF and the rest, in terms of the training and in terms of your interactions over the periods that you've been involved in the implementation of the agreement, you see the training contributing positively and changing the situation so that parts of those agreements are implemented?
Yeah, I think the training is very important and has contributed a lot, because first when we went as a group, The SSPDF, they're in their group. We as IO, we also in our group. This peace is our peace. It's a peace for our people. We signed it, we negotiated, and it is our responsibility to sustain it. And the military can play a very important role in sustaining this peace. Remember, the politicians, they depend on us. So if we as a military officers from all the warring parties join our hands together and work together, the peace can be sustained. As I said before, when we were traveling from here, we went as groups. The SSPDF, they are in their groups. We as IO, we are in our groups. The SOA are in their groups. The interaction was not easy between us. But by the end of the training, we became as one group, one army of South Sudan, and one people, one country. So we have worked very hard, and we have come up with our report with the recommendations to our leadership so that this peace is sustained.
Well, and then as far as the delays in the graduations are concerned, you are a sector commander, deputy sector commander. What do you see as the reasons, really, the real reasons? Why are these things delaying? Why are the forces not graduated? Why are there forces going hungry and deserting the training centers and all those reasons that have been mentioned? What are the real reasons?
I think the delayment in graduation of the forces and the challenges that forces are facing, to me, I can say there are two. One is lack of political will by our political leadership. To ensure that forces are graduated, especially chapter 2 of the agreement on resolution of the conflict in South Sudan is implemented. The second area I can say it has to do with the lack of international support toward the implementation of especially chapter 2 of the agreement.
Are there hopes right now that things may change? Because we've had, there's a communication recently, I think, from the Ministry of Defense, or that said, I wasn't sure, but there was a communication that forces are going to be graduated this month in May at the first batch of the unified forces.
Yeah, just as the minister said, we believe in our minister, and we'll see what will happen. But we strongly believe that because the forces are ready, they're just waiting for the gradation, and after gradation, deployment. So it may be, of course, what the minister have said, maybe knows what he's saying, but of course, as I said, there are challenges. There are challenges to do with logistics. So well, I don't know whether the logistics are there, but yeah.
Well, this yeah, we will continue to look into those issues around the implementation of the agreement, and what you said, together with what General Mabior said, really gave us an understanding of the training. Now let me ask you about some things about yourself. Like you have authored a book published by Africa World Books, of the one headed by Lual, founded by Lual, and I've not read the book, but I read some description about it online on Amazon, and it says the book is about your story, being an orphan and how you joined the SPLA, those days when you were very young, and how you rose through the ranks. And the description of my father to say you stands as an advocate for national unity, democratic reform, sustainable development within the context of a multicultural South Sudan, and that you maintain strong beliefs in the positive power of patriotism. Maybe you tell us more about the book and then also your story and the link between the struggles, and even your time joining the opposition, and how all those could contribute to the betterment of South Sudan.
Well, book, actually I wrote it for educational purposes to help the young generations to understand life deeply. I lost my father when I was 11 years during the struggle, and life was not easy. I also had to join, actually not joined voluntarily, but conscripted into SPLA. And what I've gone through and how I became who I am today, it is through hard work. So there's nothing like free. So the book firstly, it intends to help orphans or those who have lost their parents to understand that when you lose your father, it does not mean the end of life. It does not mean that it's the end of road. But you can still make it in life and commit to be successful in life. Secondly, you help to educate the general public that orphans or the poor people in our society, they are poor not because they wanted to be poor, but because circumstances has made them to be that way. So as a society, we have a role to play. We have a role to play to bring the suffering people in our community to be themselves. And that can be through encouragement. You know, when somebody is poor or somebody is suffering, I strongly believe the most important or the first help that you can offer to somebody who is in need is moral support. Wherever you are, in whatever position you are in, you need to come down to that person.
It's also hinted on challenges you faced when you went abroad or something. In the description, you went abroad and then you faced challenges of some sort.
Yeah, I think that was in South Africa. When I went to South Africa, I was accused of being a terrorist.
Which year was that?
And that was in 2009.
Okay.
2009. Yeah, so I was accused. There was conspiracies between friends and colleagues, and especially people from the embassy of, let me say, liaison office, whereby I was accused to be a terrorist. And the intention was all about to have me arrested and deported to South Sudan. So, yeah, that was what happened.
Oh, you were
course,
there.
I was arrested.
You were there. What were you there for? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went there as, but then I left from here and then I went to seek asylum there.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was what happened, and unfortunately there was no sufficient evidence to prove that I'm a terrorist. It's only that they were trying to link me by then to a certain Somali businessman in Malawi. He's called, and also a politician, a senior member by then to Islamic Court Union. So this guy, I know him for very well, and we have been good friends. So they tried to use that link between me and the friend to put me in trouble.
Mm-hmm. And so then later, how did it end up? You said you were continuing earlier with the story.
Yeah, I was arrested, and also apart from the issue of the issue of terrorists, and then also one of the senior officials from South Sudan, who is also behind this game, also went and accused me that I'm collaborating with some Pakistani terrorists in South Africa to assassinate them. So there were now two charges: being a terrorist in South Sudan, and at the same time having link with a terrorist in South Africa to assassinate those guys. So I was arrested and then taken for interrogation, and I had to defend myself of what I know. Of course, I was I told to the authorities of South Africa government that whatever is happening is pure a political game. So I was detained, and then I tried South Africa, UNITAR, including human rights commissions, and so to lobby and having fun to clear that. So I was released, and after I was released, I made a decision that I cannot run and hide from problems, and the best thing I can do is to face the challenge and fight the problem itself. So that made me to make a decision to come back to South Sudan. To come back to South Sudan and then to fight. So from my experiences, what I can tell people is that problems are what you cannot hide from, and you cannot hide from problems. If problems wants you, it will get you wherever you are hiding. So the best thing we can do is when there's a problem, you have to stand firm and face the problem, even if it has to cost your life.
Then in 2009, what was the problem you were living from South Sudan? Like, did you have problems that you were facing then you left in 2009?
No, I never left in 2009. I left immediately in 2005 after the signing of a comprehensive peace agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, there were issues that I was not happy with. So I left and then I went to Malawi. That's where I've been staying. And then in Malawi, I started to engage into some politics. That's where, because when I was going from here, I was a typical soldier without any political agendas. So when I went from here, I started to develop some interest in politics and started engage into politics.
Of South Sudan or of Malawi?
When I went to especially in North South Sudan. So there were some groups that were against the regime in Juba. I attached myself to them, and that's how the beginning of my politics. Yeah, and then when I went to South Africa, by the time I engaged fully, I was with various movements that have been fighting the government of South Sudan before even the independence or the separation of South Sudan.
Then you,
so the last group,
so you were in the SPLA, but then you didn't want, like when the agreement was signed in 2005, some things made you unhappy. Are those included in the book, or you would like to tell us?
Yeah, basically there are some points that in book it has been included in the book, but also some are not included in the book, especially the issue of what we call Zaman with the Tenzin. Most of us who doesn't have a strong back, it becomes difficult for you to get deployment, and then marginalization. So we find also in terms of promotion to fairly. So we found that, and then also when you look at the upkeeps or the welfare of the army.
What was your rank? What was your rank?
Not benefiting us.
What was your rank when the agreement was being signed in 2005? What was your rank in the SPLA?
So there was completely unfair for your own as a first lieutenant.
Yes?
First lieutenant.
Oh, first lieutenant.
First lieutenant. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so that's it.
We had to conclusion. I would like you to tell us, because in the description of the book I read online on Amazon, it says you believe in national unity and democratic reform and sustainable development within the context of a multicultural South Sudan. You conclude to us by explaining that and your hopes for the country.
I strongly believe that South Sudan, for all of us, because everything starts with leadership. If we have a good leadership, South Sudan will be a good place for each and every one of us. And good leadership will always come when we put aside our tribalism. What is happening in Sudan and South Sudan, what is destroying us, is because of Qabliya. Most of us, even if we know and believe that this person is unfit to lead, but simply because he is from our tribe, we support him, and that is affecting us so much. So the best way we can do as a country, first, to destroy tribalism, to unite ourselves as a citizen, as one people, one country, and to know that our country is our country. No one will come from somewhere to build South Sudan. No one from somewhere that will love South Sudan. It's we South Sudanese that will build our country. It is we South Sudanese that need to love our country. And so whoever is coming from outside, they have their interest in their heart. So whatever support they are giving us, because they have their interests. So for what I can say is, first we need to ensure that we have a good leadership. And we also need to have unity among ourselves and to be patriotic. That means we need whatever we have to invest in our country, rather than stealing the resources of the country, going to build other countries, banking agents in foreign countries. Let's try to invest in South Sudan and make it great. That's what I can say.
Well, with that, General John Sande Martin, thank you very much for being on the weekly review.